says nothing about your body not being your choice. You will have more control over your body by practicing abstinence and celibacy. You will have more control over your body. Religion isn't really meant to control. Yes, it controlled because it was church and state, but it's really meant to teach you how to control your senses, and that's really what this is all about. So here it is, the section on crime. The greatest cause of crime is lust, Plato. So in the last video, when I talked about sex workers, sex work being the gateway sin of all sins, Plato, the greatest cause of crime is lust. So that's essentially saying the same thing. Do you think you're smarter than Plato? Alright, independent thinkers, we're back with another video. Today we're going to go over a more in-depth review of this book here that I reviewed on my website. It's currently, I just found out, it's the #3 search result in Google for this book. So it's not huge, extremely popular, but it's kind of well known. So if you read my review on Amazon, if you purchase the book from my website, you'll help me out. So I reviewed this book 2 years ago. It was relevant then, and throughout the years I think it will become more and more relevant as we go over this over-sexualization and different things like that. So if you look at some of my previous videos, you'll see I talked about the Roe vs. Wade thing and the sexual liberation and how that's going to be used to gain political control. It's going to create chaos. Talked about sex work being the gateway sin of all sins. And a lot of that is kind of backed up in here. So the coiled serpent, the serpent is basically the kundalini energy within us, and it's coiled. And until we learn how to tame it and master our senses, we're going to be destructive. And it's interesting how, let's say, the 5%ers, if you're familiar with them, they have a term called you're either building or destroying. And I feel like that applies beautifully to this book, because you're either evolving spiritually or you're into your animal nature. In this book, there's a quote that says, you're not even a human until you've conquered your animal nature. Until you've conquered your lower nature, you're not even a human. So I'll just challenge you to try to look through the society right now through those lenses of, if we're in our animalistic nature, are we even experiencing humanity? I think in this book it talks about, because if like in Hinduism, you reincarnate as animals and you go up into a human. So to actually have a human body is a blessing within of itself. And it says like the lower you go on the animal totem pole, like the higher spiritually evolved the animals are, the less babies they have. But the most animalistic, primitive animals have a lot of children because they haven't learned how to control that desire. So I'm just going to go through over a couple quotes. In mystic work, the serpent must be overcome. Each chapter has like a quote from it. I mean, I don't want to ruin and read you all. I got notes through all of this book, but I'm just trying to get you to buy it. I'm trying to get you to read it. There is no evidence that continence produces any neurotic symptoms. And in this section, they're kind of going over like, you're not going to go crazy by being abstinent, because it seems like we've reached a point in society especially once the Roe vs. Wade stuff happened, it's like you do have control over your body. No one's controlling your body. What we're seeing is that the lack of applicable people aren't taking advantage of the spiritual knowledge to have control over their body. That's what this is all about. Church and religion is about having control over your body more than anything. Secular society, worldly society, is about making you think you have control over your body, but it's really about you giving away the control. And if we can flip that narrative, I think things will kind of start turning around. But Christian Science chapter, the serpent pursues with hatred the spiritual idea. Early Christians preach a doctrine of sexual asceticism as the ideal for those who would rise to the heights of spiritual life. Let's try to change the narrative that yes, we're born human, yes, we got a chance, but we're devolving into animals, we're savages, we're primitive. You know what I mean? We're losing our human, and the only way we're gonna evolve is to uncoil the serpent, to win our animalistic battle, which is why books like, I think this book is gonna get more and more popular the more we see like this sexual liberation isn't really working. It's not working, and it's never worked. And as society keeps degenerating, we'll see, like I said, sex work is the gateway sin of all sins. Sex, crime, violence, all of this stuff. You see with the monkeypox, all of this stuff is all connected. Lust brings so many problems. So if you can control your lust, you can control a lot more other things. In the Hinduism section, spiritual wisdom is the fruit of indifference to sensual pleasures. This is Hinduism. See, this is what independent thinking, Resonance News, this is what this website and this channel is all about. Is like all the religions are saying essentially the same thing. And there's different chapters in this book. And they're pulling from the different religions. Right there, I just read from Hinduism. Then there's a section on Christian Science. So it's like, yeah, we could look at the details that were written by different people in different parts of the world. And they may have had enemies and done different things that, they didn't like. But even mysticism, the real Rosicrucians, this is a chapter. The true Rosicrucians bound themselves to absolute chastity. So we got Christian Science, we got mysticism, we just read Hinduism before this one, we got the real Rosicrucians. Freemasonry. Freemasonry is the conquest of appetites and passions, a continual warfare of the spiritual against the material and sensual. It's not about Democrat, Republicans, black, white, Mexican, immigrants. It's about the spiritual battle within you. That's the real war. That's the real fight. That's the real injustice. The injustice that you do to yourself. That's the real brutality. That's the real, we do more harm to ourselves with negative thinking, the stories we tell ourselves, not practicing, not at least attempting to practice spiritual, merits and benefits and commandments or whatever that you believe in. When we deny these things, we're actually self-harming ourselves. When we don't clear our mind, when we don't sit still and be still, we're harming ourselves. It's just not as physical. So, but again, it's not about the physical, it's about the spiritual also. You know what I mean? Because you're with yourself 24/7. Mythology. Take the sword and smite the serpent. We read Rosicrucians, Hinduism, Christian Science, mysticism, and mythology. It's all saying the same thing. They've been telling us this for thousands of years. Greek and Roman philosophy. The true votaries of philosophy abstain from all fleshly lust. They've been saying this stuff. They tricking us with data and entertainment. It's crazy, man. Buddhism. Cut down the whole forest of lust. When you have cut down every tree and every shrub, then you will be free. That's what the Buddha said. That's the Buddha chapter. Indian philosophy. When a man follows the way of the body, true wisdom is not born within him. Aboriginal religion. Among many persons whose function it is to perform religious rites must be celibate. So it's not just a Christianity thing. It's not just a white man, European thing. We're going to India. We're going to the Middle East, Australia. The world over, celibacy is the key to the higher spheres of life. Giving over to your lust is not having control over your body. This is it. I'm gonna end it with this. This is it. This chapter is titled Popular Opinion. I'm ending it with this. I don't have to say anything. This is for the liberals. This is for the college people in these campuses that are being indoctrinated with this Marxism and socialism. Just listen. Popular opinion. Young people are led astray, neither by temperament nor by the senses, but by popular opinion. Clearly, we see what's popular opinion, what's trending, what's this and that. Popular opinion. Let me know what you think. The coiled serpent. Type in the coiled serpent summary in Google. The third result will be my website right under Amazon. Go to my website, read the review, leave a comment, and it says purchase the coiled serpent here on the website. If you want to purchase it, use my website. I may get a couple dollars or something. I mean, I have 700 videos, a website. This stuff costs a lot of money. So that would greatly be appreciated. But let me know what you think in the comment section.